Now an update to an investigation we first brought to you onto the point. Back in October, we shared the story of White Swan Castle in Granite Bay. Now a local couple says that their dream wedding at this location turned into a complete nightmare. ABC 10's Becca Hobegger explains why this couple reached out to us.
Lucy Vang Hong and Tony Hong say they spent about $60,000 to get married at White Swan Castle and called it a terrible experience. They say malfunctioning audio equipment, inadequate air conditioning, and extreme August heat turned their big day into a struggle they're still trying to forget. Then, after ABC 10's investigation aired in October, the couple's friends and family started sending them our report. And that's when they learned they had unwittingly held their wedding at an alleged unpermitted event venue.
Tony Hong proposed to Lucy Vang on their 5-year anniversary.
I've always wanted like the big extravagant wedding style, and I feel like meeting him, whether the wedding was big or small, it was going to be the best day of our lives.
Lucy says she found White Swan Castle on Instagram while researching elegant wedding venues. When they toured the Granite Bay property at 8300 Moss Court, they say they had questions, especially about capacity.
They told us that a max capacity would be 180, and I was looking at her, I was saying, I don't think we can book this venue because even though it's the one that you want, we need almost like 200 people.
The couple says property owner and White Swan Castle operator Miriam Mozinzadeh assured them it would work. Their contract listed 195 guests. Tony says he also asked about air conditioning for the August wedding.
I texted Miriam asking her if the AC would be adequate. She assured us that it would house the guests comfortably as long as we kept the doors and windows closed.
The couple tells ABC 10 they paid nearly $60,000 for the venue and subcontracted vendors, including a DJ, wedding coordinator, and bartenders. August 2nd, 2025 arrived. Their ceremony was scheduled for 3 p.m. with a photo shoot starting at noon. The temperature outside that day was in the upper 80s into the mid-90s.
And immediately for our first look, we're like profusely sweating.
Immediately felt the heat just hit our faces and our body.
They say they repeatedly asked the wedding coordinator about the AC.
The wedding coordinator, I asked her, is the AC on? And she mentioned in the video, it's on downstairs, but not up here where the stairs were.
Is the AC not on? The AC's on downstairs, not up here.
So in good faith, again, we said, okay, maybe they just turned the AC on not too long ago. Maybe it takes time for the AC to really cool down the whole building.
But the couple says the indoor temperature didn't improve. Then came the outdoor ceremony as Tony walked down the aisle with his mother.
Immediately, the music just cuts out, right? Immediately just cuts out, and me and my mom are just walking still awkwardly. It's just taking me out of the moment.
And at the most important moment, this happened.
We're gathered today to celebrate the wedding of Lucy and Anthony. We have come here to share in this commitment they make to one another.
It was so bad to the point where I had to tell the officiant, like, can we just not use the microphone at all, because I just want to be in the moment with my wife.
Are the people dearest and most important to them?
So
Yeah, just reliving those memories is really hard.
After the ceremony, the nearly 200 guests entered the venue for the reception, where the couple says the air conditioning hadn't cooled anything down.
inside that venue alone, it felt like they were cooking alive.
The couple says the wedding coordinator and Mozinzadeh told guests to keep windows and doors closed so the AC could work, but complained the heat was becoming unbearable.
They're starting to say stuff about like feeling like suffocation, and they had to physically open the doors.
Tony says his 97-year-old grandfather, who uses a wheelchair, was among those struggling.
Tony's grandfather felt like he was going to pass out.
The couple says many elderly guests left early.
I'm just sitting there, sweat dripping down my nose, asking myself, did I really pay nearly $60,000 just to feel like I'm publicly humiliated in front of all my friends and family?
We didn't want to look mad or disappointed, so we tried to put on a face, but it was really hard.
After the wedding, they contacted Mozinzadeh about their concerns.
At first, Miriam was sympathetic because she thought we were talking about the DJ on its own. But when we started bringing up the heat, she became very
Unresponsive.
right? She stopped picking up our phone calls. She stopped answering our texts.
The couple sent multiple emails requesting a private resolution by August 16, 2025. They say White Swan Castle responded on that deadline.
They basically denied all of our allegations. They also later admitted that they can't regulate the temperature inside due to the castle's architecture.
The couple says White Swan Castle is also withholding their $2,500 security deposit, claiming a guest broke a sink and guests smoked outside designated areas. The couple says they were never shown evidence.
In the contract itself, it states that it is the wedding coordinator's duty to contact me during the day of the event if my guests are smoking outside the smoking area. I was never notified of this at all.
The couple says they filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. It was closed as unresolved. They are now taking the White Swan Castle property owners to small claims court. Since there is a limit on how much someone can pursue in small claims court, Tony and Lucy have each filed their own claim, each asking for $10,000, explaining on the forms, quote, "This represents a portion of the losses. The full amount is larger." ABC 10 emailed White Swan Castle's owners, Mosinzadeh and her husband. We told them the Hongs had approached ABC 10 with their story after seeing our coverage. We invited them to respond to the couple's characterization of events, asking about the air conditioning, audio equipment malfunction, security deposit, and where things stand now. ABC 10 offered the chance for an interview or to provide a statement, as the owners did for our earlier story. In a separate email, Mosinzadeh responded. She called the Hongs' allegations demonstrably false and said they are being addressed through the appropriate legal channels, and said in part, quote, "Due to pending legal action, we cannot provide further responses at this time." Mosinzadeh also objected to ABC 10's previous coverage, calling it harmful. In October, ABC 10 reported that Placer County confirmed the property is not permitted to host commercial events. Back then, Placer County told ABC 10 code enforcement had issued the White Swan Castle property owners a notice of violation for an event held the last weekend of May 2025. ABC 10 asked the county about any action taken in response to the Hongs' August wedding. A county spokesperson says the property owners were issued a $1,500 citation, which they paid, and the matter stemming from the Hongs' wedding is now resolved. The Hongs say they only learned about White Swan Castle's permitting issue after seeing ABC 10's previous story.
The fact that our wedding could potentially be an unpermitted event was shocking to us. Right?
The couple says they're sharing their story to warn other couples.
That would break my heart to see another bride and groom to have to go through what we went through.
If you gave me what I know now and I was able to go back in time, I would have never done business with White Swan Castle, and that's the honest truth.
The Hongs' small claims hearing was originally set for March 24th, but the owner of White Swan Castle requested a postponement. A judge granted her request, so the hearing is now scheduled for July 28th.